What's up, everybody? I'm NESN.com's Ricky Doyle, joined now by Michael Ray Garvin of Florida State.
Yes, sir.
Alum
yes, sir.
also of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes, sir.
And we touched a little yesterday on why exactly you're here on Radio Row. You got a phenomenal cause that you're here for, and really it speaks to an issue that's going on in the NFL right now. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, right now I have a couple books out on Amazon. My first book, I'm basically breaking the stereotype that not all athletes are illiterate and drug cheats. And so, most people, they see the, famous picture of me running my 40-yard dash at Florida State, running
a good time you had, too.
Yeah, 4.24.
Yeah, not bad.
And so people automatically assume that, athletes have to take illegal performance-enhancing drugs, to make it in the professional level. And so I'm tearing down that whole stereotype. Now, my second one, I actually have a solution, a research-based solution, clinical laboratory studies for concussion and chronic traumatic encephalopathy. So I've been studying for the past 4 months about neurology, just basically getting more information about it and seeing how a concussion actually happens, in an athlete. And so, the brain sits in cerebrospinal fluid, and, once it moves, it shifts and actually hits the skull. And so now you have axons and neurons which stretch and tear, and so now the brain is in a chemical and electrical imbalance. Now it's looking for energy to help heal itself. And so now we need to trigger neurogenesis. And scientists have actually done studies, back in the late 1990s, that neurogenesis can happen. It's actual scientific fact. It just happens in the hippocampal area, which is the temporal lobe side.
Right.
And so now there's natural supplements out there that are actually supported by the FDA, on the FDA's website, which can actually help trigger neurogenesis in athletes.
Now, you described it yesterday. It was a very simple way to describe it for a guy like me. When you had an egg and basically said, what you don't see is that if you move it back and forth like this, that the yolk's still moving around inside.
The yolk still moves inside.
So,
yes.
You can come up and develop these helmets and all this, protective padding.
Yes.
But really preventing these concussions boils down to something greater, kind of.
Yeah.
It's more difficult than just slapping on some pads.
Exactly. So people try to come up with external solutions, but I don't think that external solutions can actually help. The only way I think that what can actually benefit athletes is help them heal faster internally. It makes sense. I mean, I love football. I'm former NFL player, played at Florida State, also ran track. And so I love the game. And so I'm trying to help the athletes. I know former players who are out there suffering with it. And my main goal is to bring knowledge to them so that way they can have a better life after football.
Well, that's the thing, too. You can raise this type of awareness. You live this. You you've been there. You've had concussions.
Yeah, that's right.
It's one of these things where you're now kind of taking a step back, rolling up the sleeves, and now, like you said, you've been studying the neurology. So you feel like you have a very unique perspective on this.
Yes. I mean, definitely. I've actually experienced it. In 2014, I actually had a serious concussion. Stumbled towards the sideline. I was nauseated. My head was spinning. But I had, a pair of supplements on the sideline, and I was coherent within 3 to 5 minutes. And then afterwards, I took some other supplements to help trigger neurogenesis, natural supplements. So teaching athletes how to be a natural athlete. And my main goal is also to get illegal performance-enhancing drugs out of sports completely. That's my main goal.
You think that'll happen? It seems it's a lofty goal.
It is a lofty goal, but you know what? As long as I keep putting information out there, trying to get exposure and, keep connecting with the NFLPA, other players, and bringing that knowledge to them. It's also my books, too. I believe in order for you to be successful, you have to read. And so I do a ton of reading. I've been studying about supplements since I was 14 years old. So my knowledge has grown over the years. I've learned about the law of individual differences, how everybody has a different genetic makeup. And so some people will have a hypermetabolism or hypometabolism. So it depends on, how much of a dosage you need. Maybe a higher dosage or a lower dosage, so.
Now, is this something that you mentioned you kind of spread it throughout the league, maybe with some other players, other people within the NFL? Have you kind of, ran this by them a little bit and try and gain as much traction as possible?
Yes. So I actually have a couple friends who play in the league. Chris Sims. I'm also trying to hit up with Brian Cushion and Joe DeFranco about it, and some other athletes as well. Just trying to get the information out there, but mainly the NFLPA, because the NFLPA is the one who can establish it and make sure that we have a system set for the athletes, the former players who are actually dealing with issues nowadays.
So what's the next step?
Next step is keep going, man.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep getting the information out there, keep bringing awareness to the situation so that athletes who are suffering, they can live a better lifestyle after football.
Okay, on a slightly lighter note here, I do have to ask your prediction for Sunday's game. You're on Radio Row, so I got to pick your brain a little bit about this matchup, this devastating matchup amongst Titans.
Man, you know what? I like the Falcons, but the Patriots, man, they always come through. Bill Belichick, he's a great coach, so you know, I believe the Patriots going to come through, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, I don't think the folks that watch the New England Sports Network are going to complain about that.
All
Thank
right.
you for stopping by.
Thank you. I appreciate it.